Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second paper of the conference that is being delivered by Otunba odufowokan. Please kindly join in, please. This is a text of a seminar paper presented by Otunba odufowokan, a media practitioner and president of the Remo Group TRG at the Remo Facebook conference on Saturday, 31st August 2013. The social media. As the use of social media gains currency of relevance in our country, more people and organizations appear to be catching up with the trend. In all our communities in Remo land today, rural and urban alike, our folks, young and old, are using their personal handhelds like the BlackBerry phones, Androids, etc. to deliver messages and connect the world on a global stage in quite a number of interesting ways. The emergence of social media vehicles like Facebook, the Twitter, the WhatsApp, the Eskimi, the Badu, the Netlog, Hi5, Tagged, Skype, Live Chats, Yahoo Messenger to mention but a few, open up to many avenues for social networking, and this further reduce the distance between people across the world to just a tap on the keypad. No doubt, social media has become a potent tool to influence the ideas and opinions of millions of people around the world. Its dynamic and authentic nature simply cannot be ignored by us. Experts say, apart from providing direct channels for delivering messages, the social media can be a powerful listening and learning tool. Little wonder that a school of thought believes that the social media may render survey obsolete in the foreseeable future. Culture and tradition. In the developing world, especially in Black Africa, the understanding of culture and tradition has seriously been reduced to fetishism and other archaic and anachronistic arts that are better forgotten. Here in Remo land, many of us consider culture to be the same as witchcraft and wizardry, something that good Christians and Muslims must avoid. A few others see culture as nothing more than mere drumming and dancing. But anthropologists have, however, given a deeper explanation of culture as those forms of behavior, practices, and thoughts that are nurtured, held, cherished, and maintained desirably and having importance and relevance for our lives. Culture is said to be the oil that keeps society running. Tradition and knowledge have also been described in certain quarters as the main pillars of development and sustenance of communities, that no society can progress in the absence of two. According to a Ghanaian professor, Professor Kwasi Pra of the Center for Advanced Studies African Society, if development comes to Africa, it must come in form of cultural features of African language and other institutions of culture. Since this paper is with Remo Kingdom in mind as a case study, I want to borrow from the words of Professor Pra and say, Remo land is to develop, we must take care of our culture and tradition immensely. Social media is the rescue. Having taken time to discuss what social media and culture or tradition are, I think I have little time left to say in explaining how the former is an agent of preserving, promoting, and developing the latter. If you are wondering if I said it, just take a look at what Remo is doing. The group or organization, as the case may be, which started on Facebook, is a great example of how we can make good use of the social media to preserve, promote, and develop culture and tradition. Remo is not alone as an example of how the social media is helping to revamp Remo culture and tradition. The Remo Group is another Pan-African organization that emanated from interaction of Remo sons and daughters on Facebook. If I am to ask you to mention some more, I have no doubt that quite a number of names will be provided in this category. My position can be supported by statistics given by a study called The State of Social Media, released by Conscore in February 2012, which is a global leader in measuring the digital world. A recent local study puts the figure of Nigeria's online population engaged in social networking as 92%. Thus, if our culture and tradition is to survive the threat of extinction it currently faces, we Remonians must remain in the bandwagon of those using social media as a critical tool of promoting and preserving our heritages. The daily teaser and other intellectual discourse we engage in on the Remo pages are ways of preserving our distinct language, culture, festivals, and heritages in the minds of millions of Remo sons and daughters all over the world. We must avoid committing the grievous sins of ignoring the manpower of many power of the social media in the information age. Cultural promotion, preservation, and development is likely a function of building a two-way mutual relationship between our traditional ways and ways of life in the wider public. Today, social media has turned out to be the best form of listening to what the public has to say about you and knowing what they are thinking of about you. By discussing and evaluating our way of life on a network like Remo or the Remo Group and others, we are able to correct misconceptions about us and provide the correct facts and figures where necessary. For example, a colleague of mine once told me he was able to understand the relationship between the Jebus and Remos after reading through a discourse on Facebook. Personally, I recently got to know via a discourse on Remo that there are some places in Remo land that a Gungun deity is not welcome. With this, you can begin to understand the role of social media in promoting and preserving our culture. With our writings on social media, we are daily influencing the beliefs and opinions of journalists, decision makers, lobbyists, experts, and researchers directly. This is playing a vital role in setting the record straight concerning who we are as a people and what Remo Kingdom is. Social media is an essential tool of propagating our traditional values in the online world, since each of its channels, blogs, social networks, microblogs, or websites serve as a platform of letting the world know about our way of life and how our forefathers lived. This is largely because of the following attributes: instant feedbacks, authenticity and originality, wider reach, continuous exposure, high-level engagement, ability to create viral business. As I conclude this piece on the above notes, I want to add that the bottom line is that we need to further catch up with the changing times of our culture must be preserved. Before now, many of our cultural attributes were lost to lack of methods of keeping them alive from generation to generation. Now that we have it with us here, we must understand that the social media is a tool for that purpose and make the best use of it. Remo, Agbe Dede Eni o.